recently covered the story of the woman in Houston. They said the suburb is called Humble, Texas. Shout out to the folks in the comments who corrected me on that. But apparently that's how they pronounce it, Humble, Texas. That's where you had Rokisha Brisby, who was arrested for a credit repair scheme. According to authorities, she tried to fix her client's credit by creating and forging 133 fake police reports using the constable's name on the paperwork that was submitted to financial institutions to get them to erase her client's debt, citing identity theft. Most people didn't try to defend this nonsense, but at least 5% of the audience said that what she did was okay because she was saving the Black community. How does she save people? By illegally making false reports to get a temporary bump in their scores, only to get the bad accounts reapplied to the reports, causing their credit to be damaged once again, some worse than before, while also charging them hundreds of dollars to do it? We're talking money those folks will probably never recoup. Somehow all of that supposedly helped them? The people who believe that she helped Black people will be folks like Mr. Port City Mafia, who said she really helped the whole hood out. The whole block was in the 700 Club here in Houston. Free her. She was the only person who knew the game those white folks been had for decades. Sir, respectfully, she did not help them. She just took their money basically. Whatever she did illegally was reversed. And understanding credit is not a white folks game. It's Black people all over with good credit and they understand how this works. The information freely available in books, on Google, on YouTube, other organizations and individuals who give out this information for free. If we know that Black people are more likely to be targeted for mass incarceration, more likely to be convicted and receive harsher sentencing, all of it is a setup, a trap. So why in 2022 are we still falling in the same traps? Like, come on, if you know that you're targeted more than anybody else, why would you make up 133 fake police reports? Somebody please make that make sense. Shout out to the Phenomenal Woman's podcast who said, "I'm clutching my invisible pearls. Can't believe she would be bold enough to falsify police reports." And our sister Keita G says, "I don't understand how people think they can get away with things like this. Everyone wants to be the exception to the rule," which is so true. It's really no defense for this. So yeah, I opened up the phone lines for this topic. Going to get into that, but first, take a second to make sure that you're subscribed to the channel and click that notification bell for all updates. Let's go ahead and get into it. Caller number 225, what's your age, name, and where you're calling from?
Yes, ma'am. Brian Turner, Baton Rouge, Louisiana, 26. How you doing, Miss Pinkbook?
I'm doing good. How you doing, Brian?
I'm doing just fine.
Glad to hear that. So you see what we're talking about. Rokisha out of Houston, Texas. You know, some people, they're agreeing with what she's doing or what she did. Some people, they're agreeing with what she did. And then some, they're not defending that. So where do you stand here? Is she wrong or is she right?
Wrong. And I find it very disheartening that the Black community, even so many years later, still excuses criminality and tries to dress up everything as a Robin Hood situation. What this woman did was not only wrong, but with all the things going on in Black America right now, do you really think that we collectively need someone to rob us blind? Whether it be for robbing us, trying to fix our credit, robbing us out of money. Do you really honestly think the last thing Black America needs right now is for crooks that look like us to infiltrate our communities?
Right. And I remember a time when Black folks, we could live in an area with other Black folks. No crime like that. People could fall asleep with the doors open and just a screen door that was unlocked. At this point, people can't even imagine that.
Exactly. We have no respect for each other. We've got into this programming that it's all about getting over on the next man. And don't get me wrong, in this young lady's case, I do think it's good for people to be educated, but the problem is this. If you want to educate people on credit, like for example, my father educated me on how to correct my credit and make sure that I'm spending my money correctly. When you have people like her who has no connection to other people, they don't care how they treat you. And I think the biggest problem is the fact that we have a lot of people who they're desperately yearning for guidance, so they turn to the streets or they turn to the internet to find guidance. But I just find it very disheartening that in the Black community, even when somebody is blatantly wrong, even when somebody is robbing us right in front of our face, we still find ways to excuse bad behavior.
Every time. Well, thank you so much for calling in, Brian, and definitely call again.
Always a pleasure, always an honor, Ms. Pinkbook. Thank you so much. God bless you.
All right, that's Brian. Shout out to our brother Brian calling from Baton Rouge and everybody from Louisiana. One time for all of you. Let's go ahead and get into another call. Caller number 336. What's your name, age, and where you're calling from?
Hey, my name's Bob. I'm calling from Winston-Salem, North Carolina.
All right, what's your name again?
My name's Sean.
All right, Sean, what do you think about this situation? Go ahead and weigh in. Do you think that she's right, or do you think that she's wrong?
Well, I definitely think she's wrong. Don't get me wrong. The credit system in this country is predatory. I am a person who's been through it. I'm a business advisor for a living. But for the average person, just what you have to go through to get good credit, you have to put yourself in debt in order to get good credit, which makes no sense. Paying your bills on time doesn't do anything. However, she's wrong in the sense that what's going to happen to these people now that all of this has come out is they're going to end up in a spot that they were in before. Because not only did she take their money, but every single one of those files that were closed as fraudulent activity are going to be reopened, which means all that debt they owed, they're going to owe again. And if there were multiple files being closed on somebody, if your debt to income ratio goes up too fast, your revolving accounts go up too fast, it's going to wreak havoc on their credit, and they're going to be worse off than they were before they started. She's wrong as a $4 bill.
Exactly. And not only that, they're out of the money that they paid her.
But yeah, and that's the crazy part. You spend all this money, and then you're damaged worse than before. They're helping temporarily, but something that I tell a lot of my clients is people make moves that are penny smart and dollar dumb. You might get a little bump on your credit report. She's going to do more damage, and a lot of these places now, this is going to be an excuse for them to charge additional penalties. It takes away the leverage from each of these individuals to negotiate payment plans. It's going to cripple some of these folks, especially the ones who don't know anything about credit and just really blindly trusted her to take care of stuff. They have no idea how to navigate what's about to happen to them. And the credit companies don't care because they just want their money.
Right. Before you go, Sean, though, I have one more question. Do you think that these victims, because they are victims, the people who paid her hundreds of dollars to fix their credit, and this is happening to them, they're victims. Do you think they'll ever be able to recoup any of that money from her?
They can hold her civilly liable, depending on, I guess it depends on state laws, in Texas. But I know here you can hold somebody civilly liable if you have a civil damage. That'd be the only way that they could recoup, because even though she did fraudulent things, the service that she paid them for, technically she did. Or the service that they paid her for, technically she did. So they can play that in court as, we don't have to get the money back. They wanted to bump in their credit. They got it. But the only way that they're going to be able to recoup anything is if they hold her liable in a civil court. That's it.
Well, thank you so much, Sean, for calling up, and definitely call again.
Thank you.
We're going to move on to the next call. Caller number 773. What's your name, age, and where you're calling from?
My name is Abdullah, 38, and I'm calling from Chicago.
All right. Go ahead, Abdullah. What do you think about this?
I don't know. She's definitely guilty. And like the last caller stated, that the people that she defrauded, they're definitely are the victims. How are you helping people solve their credit when you're using those funds to personally benefit your own lifestyle? If you were really helping people solve their credit and stuff, you would give them tips and clues on how to fix their credit and things of that nature. But for some of these people, I would say this: we have to learn how to start, gaining knowledge and insight of fixing our own credit. About 6 years ago, I had a credit score of 475, and, I took out a couple of loans here and there. And now in 2022, mine is up to a 750.
Now look at you. You didn't have to call nobody to falsify police reports, did you?
No, not once. What I did was, me being a military veteran, I just went to the, Navy Credit Union and asked questions on what do I need to do to build my credit up, this, that, and the third. And they just happened to give me advice. And I took that advice, did some studying on my own, and then that's how I was able to build my credit score.
But see, that's the key word. You said you did some studying on your own. You said 475 to like 750?
Yeah, I was in 2016, I was at 475, and I remember going to purchase a car on a note, and they said I had nothing to build credit upon because I always purchased everything with cash. And so they told me, because of the fact that you've shown that you were reliable by paying everything with cash, we'll try you out on this cop. Just pay your bill every month. And so what I did was, for 3 straight years, every time I got my income tax, I would pay off whatever debt I had at that time. So, for example, the first car I bought in 2016, the next year I paid it off. That bumped me instantly from a 475 to about nearly a 600 in 1 year. So, like you said, the knowledge is out there. And, black people got to stop this whole notion that, well, it's only just white folks having all the information. That's nonsense. Because black people had credit back in the early 1900s. You don't get the Black Wall Street or nothing like that if you didn't have some insight on credit and how to use that credit to your advantage in building some form of business. So we've had that. Even with the little bit of knowledge our ancestors had back 100 years ago. They still were able to utilize credit to their advantage. I mean, go watch the movie Roots. The part where, what's that brother name? Punk, Alice Haley's grandfather. He built his business off of credit, but was able to pay off his debts over time. He didn't have to go to a credit union, a credit business or whatever to get that knowledge and insight. He learned it with hard work and research. And for this lady, how did she help black people when black people literally stated that their credit never got any better? In fact, some even said that it got worse.
One time for you for being able to take your credit score from in the 400s to the 700s. Didn't have to go to anybody and pay hundreds of dollars to do it. You just took the time and researched it. We all have these smartphones and all these other devices. We're in the information age, but a lot of times I see black people wasting their time looking up nonsense. So one time for you, shout out to you for calling up, and everybody in Chicago as well. Anything else you want to say?
Yeah, I just want to end off by saying this. I was watching something earlier, and how the mob explained themselves is the reason why it took the government for years to catch them doing what they did was because they learned how to utilize their money and put it in legal businesses. In other words, stay low on the radar to where it's nearly impossible for you to get caught if you're doing some dirt. If our people if she would have applied some of that instead of doing what everybody else be doing online, stunning and want to show off and want to belittle people that may not have as much as you, I guarantee you it would have took them longer to catch her, more so than stunning and showing everything offline. Because it's easy nowadays for the feds and all of them boys to catch you. So my whole thing is just do what I did and what I'm pretty sure other callers have done as well. Gain the research on your own. Like you said, we got Google and all that. Utilize this internet. They got YouTube videos to teach you how to properly build your credit without even going to a business. So, just gain the knowledge and insight and do the research on your own and learn how to get your own self out of credit. It's not hard. You just got to be disciplined to do it.
Well, and on that note right there, thank you so much for calling up, brother. Call again.
Gratitude.
All right, we're going to go ahead and go to the next call. Caller number 470. What's your name, age, and where you're calling from?
My name is Katie Lucas. I'm calling from Decatur, Georgia, and I am 38 years old.
All right, Katie, what do you got to say about this? Is she right or is she wrong?
She is all the way wrong for several reasons. First of all, black people already got it hard enough. For those of us who, like the last gentleman said, for those of us who do our research, we work hard to get that. It's not easy. But at the same time, when you're dealing with legal stuff like that, the system is already built against us. They're not going to be easy on us if we do something wrong. So for her to put other people, black and non-black people, put their credit at risk like that, for a come up, knowing that she's flirting with danger, flirting with the legal system. She literally defrauded people with police reports. That is serious. That is nothing to play with. You know, I'm in the insurance industry, okay? You know, I had to bust my behind to get my license. And I saw Medicare Advantage. They don't play that in my field. If I say one wrong thing, I'm instantly dinged on that. You know, you have to be on top of stuff when you're dealing with bureaucracy like that. You know, so from a professional standpoint, no, she's all the way wrong. And then, like he said, the flossing online, like, sis, are you serious? Like, what is wrong with you?
Right.
Especially the way that, especially in the state that we are in right now. People are hungry. Folks are dying. I live less than 5 miles away from Atlanta. I don't go outside at night. Okay? When the sun goes down, so do I. I turn this place into a sundown town myself because it is real out here. I'm sorry. I make sure I go outside looking kind of halfway decent, but not shining and glistening. I don't want to look like, I want to blend in because folks are hungry out here. And then you out here flossing. And then on top of the fact, let's not forget what she did to her child. Okay? You know, and that's the thing that I look at with people. I always want to know what's going on with your kids because children are a reflection of the parents. So what's that saying? You're born into this world looking like your parents' decisions, but you die looking like your own. So when you sit up here and tell me that this girl is out on bail for not taking her child to the hospital for 3 days after being
not reporting it at all, didn't say anything. I can't get over that either.
And you up here, tattoos all up and down your leg on the computer screen. Nothing against girls with tattoos, but to me, that's a telltale sign because I'm in the professional world. I have tats too, but I make sure I have them in places where they are covered, where if I put on an outfit, you can't easily see them. You'll never know I have tattoos because in the professional world, I've been in the professional world, in the office world since high school. They don't like that type of stuff showing. You know what I mean? So there's a look that comes with that. It's a whole lifestyle. To me, it is. So you're up here scheming and scamming, taking police reports, and you think that they're not going to catch up to you. And then on top of that, you are a black woman in Texas. I talk to Texas Medicaid on a regular basis. They don't care. Okay? Texas Medicaid told me that if a person wants to know what's going on with their report, they need to call us. We will not send you a letter. That's the type of mind state their bureaucracy runs on. You know what I mean? So, no, I think she's wrong all the way. She needs to be locked up. And I'm going to be real with you. I'm really starting to get annoyed. Really. I mean, I've already was annoyed, but it's getting to the utmost with me when it comes to our people in this. Because when you're just giving them ammo to make us all look bad. And I understand that every race has its badness. We all know this, but they've gone hard for us. And so when you're coming up like that, you have to make sure you're on your P's and Q's because they're going to thoroughly check everything just to see if they can take you down. They don't want you having that money. They don't want none of us having that money.
Which is why I don't understand why somebody will make up fake police reports. Just do it the right way. It's just not worth it. You're probably not going to get away with it. No, you're not going to get away with these type of activities.
And then I could just go on and on. Like this is really. I saw this video today, and I'm speechless. This is a mother, a young woman, you know, and then the biggest issue for me for this, and I'm going to stop, is the lack of self-awareness and self-accountability. Those Instagram messages she put out about what other people do, but she's doing the same thing. Are you not observing your own actions? I always tell people, if you lie to yourself, I can't message you because you're going to lie to yourself. You're going to lie to me. You're going to want me to buy that lie. Whether it's intentional or not, that's something different. But sis, like, seriously, no, she needs to, they're not letting that girl out. They ain't letting her out. They don't need to let her out. Especially with especially with what she did to her son. No, I'm sorry. No, she's all the way wrong. And that's all I got to say about that.
All right, Katie, thank you for calling in. Make sure you stay safe out there in Decatur, Georgia. She said Decatur is not a sundown town, but she made it one. And you know what? I agree with you. It's not safe. So do what you got to do. Crime is bad all over, but I can't act like Atlanta is a city of angels. Georgia is not the same old Georgia. You got a lot of people moving to Georgia from other dangerous cities, and some of them are bringing those criminal mindsets with them. More scamming than ever, more robberies than ever, more murders than ever, more gang activity than ever. And you have politicians more concerned with stopping the water boys instead of supporting those young black boys who are entrepreneurs, not running with the wrong crowds, doing honest work as teenagers. You got the old black folks getting pushed out of the neighborhood, and these same politicians doing nothing to help them against inflation and gentrification. It's ridiculous. No different from what happened to Detroit, and no different from what's also happening out there in Houston. As a group, men and women, you see folks more concerned with embarrassing themselves online, as opposed to holding yourself accountable in self-development. So no, you're going to stay in debt if you don't know how to close your legs. You're going to stay in debt if you're out here buying 304s all day. You're going to stay at the bottom if you keep running around having babies all over the place with no husband. You won't ever have anything if you keep getting your license suspended on child support. So yes, of course, making decisions like that is not going to help. Shout out to everyone who called up, as well as our brothers Wesley, Sir Shy, and Dark Power, and our sister Keita G. Shout out to you, sister. I appreciate you. Want to see more content like this? You can support the channel too. Links to Cash App and PayPal are below. Ladies, fellas, want a balanced analysis, want the truth from a woman's perspective? Then you're going to want to subscribe to this channel, and don't forget to like and share.